My last day when they saw what they did to me, top tier, bottom tier. USA! USA! You got cops waving people in. You got cops taking selfies with people. You name it. And then all of a sudden we're domestic terrorists. People don't realize. Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, they all cooperated with the feds. If you even swiped a debit card in D.C. from the 4th to the 7th, you were being spied on. Before, it was like, yeah, I mean, you did the crime, do the time. Or innocent, completely innocent, right? Over-sentenced, being raped. Most people don't even know about Dublin, California, and what happened at that prison. They don't get it.
So today we're doing something a little different. Nelson called me the other day and said, I got a special guest just for you. And I was like, what? He goes, a January 6er. So guys, I'm going to introduce her. I'm going to let her tell her name, but I'm not going to call it by her because she's a gangster to me. Because once you hear her story about how much she fought and how she was not going to bow down to the government and these people, I was just at all. Because everybody knows that I go to trial for everything. So I'm going to call her my January 6th gangster. How are we doing today?
Good. Glad to be here.
Glad to be here.
I've done a lot of shows. I've actually never done one in the studio. So,
really?
Yeah.
Never done it in the studio,
No.
So this is the first one.
It's usually on phones, and that, to me, I think is even more nerve-wracking because you're like staring at yourself in a phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not the same.
It's not the same. It doesn't have the same atmosphere, the feeling, everything else. So let's what they charge you with?
Demonstrating, parading, and picketing. 2 counts of disorderly conduct and trespassing.
So it's all misdemeanors?
Yes.
And how much time did they give you?
11 months.
And was that the amount of time you should have got for that?
No, I was sentenced with 10 points instead of 4 points. Technically, they sentenced me to obstruction and not trespassing because they wanted to charge me with obstruction. So I should have been 1 to 6 months, but reality is nobody in U.S. history has ever gone to federal prison for trespassing.
No. So your attorneys did, during sentencing, say anybody else has been charged with this only gets this much amount of time, or they didn't do that?
No, but it's like if you look at the charge in itself, I guess it falls into the bracket of like 1 to 6 months. But then it put me into the bracket of 6 to 12, and he made sure that he gave me 11.
Now, you went to trial, right?
I did.
Oh, you did go to trial.
So out of 1,593 people, if my numbers are correct, I'm one of 26 that took it to trial. And the number of misdemeanor people that took it to trial is even way lower than that.
Well, because, I mean, they did offer you a plea deal at some point, right?
They offered me multiple times.
And what was the plea deal?
Drop all 3 charges down and just plead guilty to demonstrating, parading, and picketing.
And what was going to be your prison sentence?
Well, they would work it into the deal where I probably wouldn't have done any time. I would have just gotten probation.
You believe that?
A lot of people did. It depends on who you are. I probably wouldn't be that lucky. I was too loud.
It's just like I told Nelson, a little bit of time that they were wanting to give him. So how much time did you end up doing, Nelson?
Like inside?
Yeah.
5 months.
5 months. What was your sentence?
8.
So he got 8 months sentence. And if you would have took it, if you wouldn't have took the plea deal and all that other stuff, how much time do you think you would have got? You scored out.
Like if I went to trial,
Well, not if you went to trial, but if you didn't cooperate or do any of the other stuff.
I would have gotten like 2 years.
2 years. And he regrets it because for the little extra amount of time, it's like, he would have had his dignity and everything else. I'm like you. I was like, fuck that. They offered me 15 years. I didn't care. I was taking it all the way to the box. And the reason why I was so excited about your case is because my case is a corruption case too. Just like yours, and we're going to get into it, about what you did, how that day played out, and how you were treated afterwards. Because a lot of people don't understand is that you can go and do anything else you want to do, but when you fuck with these people, they will make an example. Because at the end of the day, what happened in Minnesota, okay, about burning the cities down and everything else, I don't even know if anybody's really been charged. If they have, they probably didn't get much time because it was never put on the news. I need to look into it. But that house is ours. We pay for that. We built that. We put those people in there, everything else. And you're going to try to tell me that we can't go there and protest them and go inside that house, but we can go to another city or our own people and burn each other's own cities down and hurt each other, hardworking people. But if you go to them, they're going to make sure you get punished to the hilt. They're going to overcharge you. While you're in there, you're going to stay in the shoe like most of them. The point about this, guys, is not about the January 6th thing. It's about them versus us and 2 tiers of justice. Because my case is a 2-tier justice system, too, because the Sackler family and Purdue and all them pay fines. CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid. I do the time. We had somebody in our case also that they wanted to go after. Everybody cooperated on. I said, why is he not here? And he said, well, Washington, D.C. called and said he was untouchable. And you know this. Mm-hmm. Now, before you got in trouble, were you loudmouth? Were you aggressive? Were you inactive? Were you anything?
I think what even got me into politics, I mean, I tell people this all the time because I'm transparent. I never voted in my whole life until Trump ran in 2016.
Really?
I hated politics. Wasn't my thing. Kind of what got me into it was I was fighting for 2 younger kids in the family court system, and I saw how corrupt it was. And that's what made me start speaking out. And I was, fighting CPS and pulling out laws and showing them, and I was like, man, if this is this corrupt. And then Trump ran, and I started doing rallies. We did car rallies. I mean, you should see all the things we've done. I actually got to go to Caroline Leavitt's house
Really?
before I went to prison. She interviewed me, and because we did a huge car rally with like hundreds of cars and flags, and we did this all the time. And it was like, I had never seen, even though I wasn't into politics, you never saw that for a president, someone running for president.
And where are you from?
New Hampshire.
And New Hampshire's not a red state.
It's more red than you would think. It's the 2 main cities that run the entire, that take it.
And you're a lesbian, too.
Yeah.
So you do not fit the thing. You don't live in a red state. You're a lesbian. Like, you're supposed to be pink hair, out there screaming and yelling at everybody.
Well, it was funny because I was on pretrial for 1 year and 8 months, drug tested, red flagged at TSA, and travel restricted and stuff. And so there was a drag queen story time event, and of course I went, and I was with some of the Proud Boys, and we had flags, and we custom made signs, and we were asking the parents as they were walking in, like, what are you doing? Why are you bringing your kid to this? Like, I don't understand. So then there were news articles that I should be ashamed to be gay. I'm not really gay because why would I stand against this? And so my probation officer calls me and she goes, Kirstyn, I told you to lay low. I'm like, what? She's like, you're on the front page of the newspaper. I'm like, for what? She's like, I don't know, drag queen story time. And I was like, okay, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to violate me? I'm like, this is insanity. This shouldn't be happening. So it's my First Amendment right to protest. And then it just went from there. I mean, I was out there giving flags to homeless veterans, and I've taken in homeless people into my house. I've rescued dogs. But if you Google my name, you would think I was a domestic terrorist. Like I was the worst person in the world.
You are. You're going against the government, what they're trying to do to us people.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I have multiple gay friends. One of my co-defendants gay. I don't give a shit what you do. But I also have a daughter. And I do not like the fact that these men are claiming they're women and come in and want to take all the sports activities, all their rights of, what they fought for and put into this just because they want to say they're women. And I don't care when anybody says that's a hill that I'm willing to die on. Mm-hmm. You can call me anything you want in the book. I've been called worse. But that is something I'm not going to tolerate. I don't care if you get married. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you want to dress up and act like a weirdo behind your doors. But when it comes to my household and causing problems in my house, we're going to have problems.
Yep.
And, I want to say majority of Americans agree that way, but majority are scared to speak out because what we're going to get into, what the government, the press, mm-hmm. and how this selective few, what you say, not even 1%, are able to control the other 99%. Because of the algorithms
like
or whatever it is.
535 people in Congress, something to that effect. Imagine millions and millions and millions of us are being controlled by 500 and something people.
Yep. I mean, look at what one dictator can do by controlling with food.
Yep.
And that's the thing about it is, you start reading all these articles now, and it could be conspiracy theories, I don't know. But you can't take away that they're buying up all the farmland.
Yep.
So
I mean, I think the conspiracy theorists that we've all been called, and I think we're like 20-0 at this point. I
No,
mean, everything we've said, like the COVID shots, the food, I mean, everything that we were saying that they all thought we were crazy about. No way. It's all come out, and it's still coming out.
It's still coming out. So tell me, if you wasn't a part of too much stuff, then Trump came in, what made you show up that day? What was your objective, and why did you go?
Well, so I'd gone to D.C. 3 weeks previous for the Stop the Steal rally. And like I said, I was very involved in all the rallies, the car parades, the speeches. I met Trump. I have a picture with Trump. So we're like, well, we have to go. Trump told us to go. Like, he asked every American, if you care, show up. And I mean, you'll probably never, ever see that amount of people, because I don't care what the media tells you. There was well over 1.5 million people in D.C. that day. I mean, as far as a camera can zoom, I was on my buddy's shoulders in every direction. Just people, every road. I mean, they had all of D.C. blocked off. So I was like, we can't miss it. So we got an Uber at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay. The speech didn't even start till, I don't know, 11, 12. Okay.
That's a little extreme.
Oh, listen. And we still couldn't even get close. Like, I could show you videos and pictures. We were still far away. People were camping out the night before. Okay. It was crazy. So imagine you have all these people and you're like this, like, we didn't go to the bathroom, nothing. You can't move. No fights, no cops, no nothing. Like, one of the most peaceful things that you ever gone to. Patriotic. And so we listened to the speech, and then he said, we're going to peacefully and patriotic, which they altered the video, which is what he's suing for right now. We're going to walk down to the Capitol. And we're like, okay. But little did we know, the Capitol was already breached. Well, we were still at the Ellipse, which is a 45-minute walk. People had already breached the Capitol.
Yeah, but what is everybody talking about from the time he said, let's do that? Or say, while you're waiting on Trump to show up, okay, to do his thing, while he's speaking and while you're walking there, what was the conversations?
Literally just, we're going to make our voices heard, and we want it sent back to the states. And there's definitely some serious election fraud, and that's all we wanted. And that happened until the breach at the Capitol. Then that's when they were like, nope, we're not even going to send it back. We're not even going to look into it. And I mean, there was objections left and right. But then, I think it was all rigged. January 6th was set up, and we can get into that. But there's documentation that in August of 2020, before the election even happened. So come on, who's stealing it? Why were you practicing January 6th?
I agree with you, and all the reports will start coming out. But I'm starting to get really frustrated that all this stuff's coming out. Dan Bongino didn't do nothing. I had faith in him. Kash Patel is absolutely flopped. Pam Bondi, I knew she was horrible. She was one of the prosecutors in my Florida case that was pushing the whole thing on the state level. Trump, I wouldn't say he's whatever, but I feel like he's cut a deal to where he's not going to be prosecuted in his family, and something's going on. I don't understand, because the evidence is there. It's all there. And they're like showing us, but they're not doing anything about it. And I'll be honest with you, it's like the Save Act. 82% of Americans want it. And Congress is just like telling us to F ourselves, because they're letting us know they have the control.
Yeah.
We're leaking this stuff, the Epstein files. Here's all this stuff, but yes, and that's why I was so excited about having you on, because people think that they're like, oh, because I'm conservative, right? You're just this, that. And I'm like, no, it's us versus them. It's like you have to focus. I was just talking to this black dude just out there in the thing, and he said you have to watch when they're doing something like this. What are they voting on? Because every time they create something in the news, go look and see what they're voting on, and you'll see something big passed. And all it is they want us. At the end of the day, we all don't really hate each other. We don't. What it is they create us, all this stuff. We watch the news and get us going at each other. And it's the same thing in prison. You've learned in prison. Everything's racially divided. I don't know about in females, but in the men's, but we all get along. We all have the same thing. We all are talking. We're all working together. You're seeing dudes with swastikas walk around with no problem, but out here in the streets, it's a problem. And it's the weirdest thing ever I've ever seen in my life. But I mean, you agree with me that they can do whatever they want. And now they don't even hide it since Trump's been in office. But if you do it, it's a problem.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no one above the law is a crock of shit. They are all above the law.
You agree there's two tiers of justice?
Oh, yeah. Completely. I mean, it's politically motivated. This has never happened in U.S. history. I mean, you got things like the Bundy Ranch and whatever, but to set up that many people, like there's only 1,593 of us that got arrested, but they were still watching people's bank accounts, even if you didn't get arrested. People don't realize Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, they all cooperated with the feds. If you even swiped a debit card in D.C. from the 4th to the 7th, you were being spied on.
Really?
And, you know, they got 1,593 of us, but they weren't done. Had Trump not won, they were going to go ham.
They said there's 1,500 more still.
Oh, I'm telling you, they were going to arrest thousands. And there's no rhyme or reason. Some people didn't even go in the building. You know, and what Americans don't realize still to this day is we actually had legal permits to be on the Capitol grounds. We had speakers that were going to speak on the Capitol grounds. So it's amazing that we're trespassing, yet we had permits to do it.
I was watching it in federal prison when it all went down, and it was just blew my mind watching this all. And I'm like, oh my God, I was so excited. I was like, finally, some people actually got enough balls to go do something and hold these people accountable and, like, you know, put the pressure on them and let them know, because in prison we do that. You know what I'm saying? We stand up and we you know, let it be known. And they punished the hell out of us for doing it, and just like them. And I was just like, this is crazy. And you see the videos, they only showed the ones outside, but everybody on the inside wasn't acting like animals on the people outside. So that's kind of was my first thing, was like, they show videos, everybody walking through, and they're just letting everybody in everywhere, just letting them all in. And I'm like, dude, something isn't right here.
It was entrapment, that's a whole nother ball game. Like, you're going to, you know, the Democrats are trying to pass a bill right now that no January 6er can get paid for what we went through. Wrongful imprisonment, entrapment, you name it, abuse by the police. You got BLM and Antifa that won millions of dollars because the federal officers were too forceful with them. It's like, did you see what they did on January 6th? Like, if you watch the videos that they put on the news, yeah, I could see where the average person might think, like, holy shit, that, like, look at these people, they're beating up cops. And that's not what happened. Like, that's not how it all started. We were singing the national anthem, praying. There's little kids running around. There's 80-year-old elderly people. And without warning, it's not like they got on a big megaphone and said, leave the grounds, blah, 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 or you'll be arrested. That didn't happen. You didn't give us any warnings.
What about all the rubber bullets and all the stuff you seen?
That's what I'm saying. That wasn't protocol, and they start shooting people. You got Joshua Black, that literally the dude, like, got his cheek blown out. He has a hole in his cheek. You had 4 people that died that day, and that's not police officers. And it's so frustrating to talk to people today, and they're like, yeah, but what about all the cops you guys killed? There is not one officer that died that day. The only officer that died is Officer Sicknick, and he died the next day. And it was actually protesters who could tell he looked a little weird in the face, like color-wise, brought him to the officers and said something is wrong with him. They chose not to do anything. So that's on them. And then Roseanne Boylan, when they, you know, had everybody pig-piled and pushed her out of, like, the tunnel area, that she died. And they dragged her body in by her legs, like, and then you hear the audio that they tried to prevent us from hearing, but I could give you a website where you could watch all of this. The media is not going to show you. But they didn't know how to use the thing. The machine.
Yeah, but look what they're doing. Look what they're doing to you're bringing up the audio thing. Look what they're doing to the Epstein files. They've made it so difficult for you to find and get into this stuff that it's almost impossible, where you can only look at a couple things at a time. And you have to go under a different IP address to do it, so nobody can find it. Well, they got millions of people digging through it, and that's how they're finding all this stuff. But you notice it's already getting quiet. It's like they started this war to shut up the Epstein thing, is what my opinion is. I'm just getting really disgusted of it all. And I'm for the blue. Okay, let's not get that wrong. I talked to the cops. I had them on payroll. They were some corrupted. I still talk to the agents a lot on my case. Everything else, they shake my hand. Like, I'm not against them. But I tell them all the time, because I go on this podcast and I'm going to try to get you on it with Dilks and everybody else, because they would love have you on. And I tell them all the time, I'm like, listen, I'm disappointed in y'all. Like, where I lost a lot of respect with law enforcement was during COVID. Yep. They want to go shut down legit businesses, gyms, and all these things. People need to pay their bills. They need to put food on the table. But meanwhile, people are out in the streets tearing stuff up, rioting. They don't do anything because their boss told them to lay down. But then when their boss tells them, go over here and arrest this guy for trying to do the right thing, they're like, okay, boss, I'll go do it. And it's so sickening to watch what's really happening. Nobody has morals. Nobody's standing up. Them cops are going, you know what? You go fucking arrest them.
Yep.
But they won't. They were like, okay, boss, I'll go do it.
Well, I mean, I bet they'd have a real problem if people actually said, you know what, we're going to band together. Walking off the job. You lose your whole police force. What are you going to do? I mean, you're going to be forced to do something. Either make it right and keep them, or you're going to have a hell of a problem, especially, you know, places like Chicago or wherever. But it's frustrating. I'm on the same page. You know, back the blue. But what I witnessed on January 6th, it makes it very difficult. Now, mind you, I've had cops shake my hand. I've had officers in prison like, you don't belong here. Like, that's crazy what they did. They should have never, you know, fired on innocent people, you know, killing people. And meanwhile, they're opening the door. The doors can only be open, those magnet doors, when the guy, which you probably haven't seen the video, but the guy looks up at the camera, goes to open the door, looks back up at the camera, all of a sudden the door's open.
I think I've seen it on X.
You got cops waving people in. You got cops taking selfies with people. You name it. And then all of a sudden we're domestic terrorists. And I walked through the red ropes. I mean, I didn't touch a wall. I didn't steal anything. I didn't vandalize anything.
I wish that you would have had the horns on.
And look at him. I mean, he got a tour.
He got a tour.
He did 41 months. And yet he's with like 8 officers walking around. They're opening doors for him. I mean, how can you not see the corruption? I mean, him alone it was just mind blowing. Yeah, really, and yet not one of us won our cases.
He went to the wrong desk. That's why. Put his feet on it.
Yep.
The legendary of all, Nancy Pelosi, the world's richest insider trader.
Yep.
So tell me about that walk down and how you went inside. What was your choice of going in, and how did that come about?
So we were walking down. We weren't running or in any rush. I have videos of like stopping and going up on the steps of some of the buildings and just videotaping like massive, like just thousands and thousands of people. So we're just nonchalant, whatever. We're going down there. Nobody, I mean, maybe other people. I had no intentions of going in the building. And so we get there, we find a tree, and we were with some other people, and we're like, all right, this is our spot. Well, I climbed the tree. I'm taking pictures and taking selfies in the tree, whatever, minding my own business. Well, my co-defendant, who happened to be my friend at the time, single mom, my mom was babysitting her kids, and I'm a protective person anyways, you know what I mean? I'm not going to let her go off and get hurt somewhere and not come home to her kids. So I was like, all of a sudden, my boss comes down, he's like, hey, he's like, where's Stephanie? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, we got to go find her. So I come down from the tree. I go to find her. Next thing you know, I get separated from him because he gets a smoke bomb on his boot. And all of a sudden I turn around and I can't find him. And I mean, there's just thousands of people everywhere. So I'm like, oh my God. So now I'm like standing on walls using my phone to try and find her in the crowd. End up finding her. She's at the bottom of the scaffolding, having the time of her life, laughing, recording stuff. She's like, oh, you know, we're going in. I'm like, I don't know. And I end up following her. And now if you watch all the videos, I'm third in line, holding on to the back of her hoodie. At one point, you see me jogging to catch up to them because you're getting divided by all these people. And we're in this hallway. And
wait, isn't all the chaos going on outside already?
Yeah. So, well, that's the thing. I didn't see the chaos.
Oh,
it
really?
depends on where you were. Okay. On the east side, the west side. So like the scaffolding blocked a lot of it. So we just see people climbing through scaffolding. I didn't see any of the cops fighting with people and all of that. That was on the other side. So she did, because that's apparently where she was before, which is how she She cooperated with the government, used her footage, got other people indicted.
Oh, so she told on you.
Oh, yeah.
After she got you to go in there, she
Oh, yeah.
wanted to tell on you.
Yep.
And got other people.
Oh, yeah.
I love them type of people. I
And
love them so much.
So her case was sealed. She got probation, and I went to
Nice.
prison.
Nice. Didn't they tell you in that plea deal they wanted you to admit that Trump told you to do it?
So that's in almost majority of the J6ers that were offered plea deals. A lot of them fought back and forth with their lawyers, like, no, you need to take this out. I'm not willing to take it with this. But yes, that was part of it. Had we had said, you know what, there are a few J6ers that have refused their pardons and have gone publicly and said that they deserve what they got because they committed a crime and they hate Donald Trump. There are 2 of those people out of 1,593. But yes, they were, you can't have social media. You have to tell on this person, or, you know, if we say that Trump made us do it, I mean, we would have gotten off. That's all they wanted. They wanted Trump in the end. I mean, people don't realize they blocked us on Airbnb, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. People's mortgages got canceled. I couldn't even get a bank account until like a month ago.
Really?
And I had to go to Old Glory Bank that's run by John Rich and all them because no other bank would give me a bank account.
Funny. I mean, you're in the same boat, and I didn't even do that. I'm not allowed to have no bank with no major bank. Chime. I can do little mom and pop ones in neighborhoods like that, but it's so bad. And I'm not even, my case is just the pill case. But once you get labeled as somebody big in the drug conspiracy or whatever it is, my mom actually put me on something, and they banned her from Bank of America for life.
It's crazy.
And I'm not even on something like that. That's why when I heard you, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. Because people don't understand is that you can go do whatever you want. You don't fuck with them people.
Nope.
That prosecutor told me in Florida, he said, Jason, he says, please take a plea deal. Please. They're not going to let you win again. I'm telling you, they're not. And once I realized who my prosecutor was, I was like, you got to be fucked. I thought the Democrats were for, like, you know, the people and all this stuff. But meanwhile, all she wanted was a political win to get to D.C.
Oh, yeah.
And she got to D.C. She was acting attorney general. And Trump fired her. It was the funnest day. It was my best day when I was in prison when she got fired, Sally Yates. I was so happy. Everybody was like, why are you happy? I'm like, dude, Trump fired that bitch. I was so excited. It was, even though I wasn't going home, but it was still like, yeah, bitch, what are you going to go do now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can get fired too. And, you know, I didn't even get to pick my jury. I don't believe I picked my jury. I really don't. Just like we don't get to pick our presidents, we don't get to pick our juries. And people are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, they put the people in the news for us to see. Think about all the people that are running that we never get to know are on the ballot. We don't get to know nothing about them. No social media will push their content. No nothing. They only push the people that are already pre-vetted. You know, they say Facebook is ran by the CIA. Mark Zuckerberg's face is just on it. Well, it just proved that the FBI had a back door. Mm-hmm. So it goes to show you the government runs it.
So I'm actually still to this day using my mom's Facebook. I cannot make a Facebook profile.
Really?
I got removed 3 days after January 6th, lost all my pictures, all my videos, everything. And I have tried probably 7-8 times.
Wow.
And it just says error.
That's a good one there. So you went down, you walked through. What did it feel like walking through the Capitol?
Never got a tour or whatever. So I was like, I was more fascinated. Like, holy shit, that is an incredible building. Like, so I'm just walking through, whatever. We get to this one part where we're all, I mean, you're just crammed and we're all stopped. There's like 5 officers standing in the hallway, right? You know, you can't hear. Everyone's chanting, yelling, whatever. And I'm like trying to stand on my tippy toes, trying to figure out what's happening. And all of a sudden, one of these protesters gets, you know, he's got his arm around the cop. They're sitting there whispering, having a conversation. Next thing you know, he grabs a megaphone. Now, if what he was saying to all of us wasn't true, the cop was standing right there. You could have addressed it. He gets on the megaphone. He's like, all right, they're going to let us through. Everybody be peaceful. No violence, blah, blah, blah. And then the crowd starts moving.
Really?
And they're saying, oh, see, she broke a police line. And I was like, okay, first of all, there's
Did you get this evidence in the trial?
Oh, yeah.
So you were able to, but the jury was picked, so it really don't matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter. So,
You were guilty before you went in there.
oh yeah, so they wouldn't change, not one J6er got to change a venue. Okay. I mean, we were blasted on every news nationwide. Okay. So we were never going to have a fair trial to begin with. Then when it comes to jury selection, I mean, some of these people would get up there and be like, you know, they'd ask questions and they're like, anybody who went to January 6th is a terrorist. And I was like, okay, well, that person clearly should not be on my jury.
And they still, the judge didn't strike them.
He struck some of them. He was definitely not wanting to, but then my own attorneys sabotaged my jury selection and they struck the wrong juror. And when I noticed, because I'm sitting at the table writing down the numbers and the people and who might possibly even give me a fair shot, right? And my mom's doing the same thing and everyone's doing the same thing in the courtroom. And so I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, that juror was that number and he mixed them up. So we pick up the phone and you call the judge. It's weird how DC is set up.
What?
Oh yeah. When you're
Hold
sitting
on.
at the table, you pick up a phone and the judge picks up a phone and you talk.
So they don't go, object, Your Honor, we need to do a sidebar?
Yes. When you're actually doing that, but when you want to talk to him about something, because you have like glass around you and shit, it's weird. And so you pick up a phone and I was like,
Because of COVID, probably.
okay. So he tells him what happened. And the judge said, oh well, we're going to proceed.
My judge was sleeping during trial. They had to wake him up. Hey, psst, wake up. And I'm like, dude, are you all going to put this on the record? Say it on the record. They sponged it from, they wiped it off the record. So when you get the transcripts, it's never in there. He's snoring. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, my trial was pushed faster because he had to go on vacation. And that's in my transcripts.
Because he had to go on vacation.
He was going on vacation. So we needed to, he said to the prosecution, he's like, all right, we don't need to keep playing the same videos over and over. Let's try to break it down a little bit. You know, I am going out of town, but I'm like, this is the most insane shit. So then the best part. So after I saw the shit show, okay, not one video, not one picture, nothing in my defense in 4 days. Okay. So I look at the witness list. The number one witness is my co-defendant. So I was like, oh, this is going to be great. Actually, I'm glad she's testifying because she is, for one, she's not going to be able to lie and compose herself and she's going to get caught. So fine. She actually might be the best witness. So they pulled a fast one. They waited till the last day and they said, well, actually, we're not going to have Miss Sheeger testify unless Miss Niemela testifies. Okay, bet.
You know why they're going to do that, right? So in my case, I was going to testify on my behalf to defend myself. And they said, do you realize they're going to ask you if you ever broke the law before? And if you say no, I was going to be like, I'm going to say, yeah, I've drink and drive as a kid. I fought, done stuff. And they're going to ask you a particular question. And when you say no, they're going to bring all these other co-defendants on to talk about that you've done all these illegal activities and that you're a liar. And I was like, that's some dirty, dirty shit. They got all the games.
So we take a recess. We go in the room. Now, my family and friends are out in the hallway. They couldn't hear what he was saying, but they heard the yelling. So we're in this room, and I'm like, listen, you guys have done a horrible job, okay? And they're like, what do you mean? We got it in the bag. Guaranteed, we got it in the bag. I said, no, you don't. So I said, I want to testify. He gets up, slams his hands on the table, starts screaming at me. Are you fucking insane? Do you know they're going to bury you? I said, and you're my own attorney? I said, this is insane. So I decided the only reason I did not testify was because I had no faith in my own attorneys. I mean, there were points during my trial where I'm like nudging them. Are you going to object? Are you going to object? Like, what are you doing? I mean, you're sabotaging. And I go in the morning. He's sitting with the FBI agent, chumming it up, telling their life stories, laughing, having a good old time. I said, oh, I'm done. I mean, this is just 4 days of a shit show.
I had Brian Steele, Young Thug, P. Diddy's. I mean, Brian Steele is huge name. And I'm literally sitting there sending him notes like, what the fuck are you doing? And he sends one back and says, well, we objected so many times, the judge turned it down, it looks bad. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because you have to object to have an appealable ground. So he didn't object on the most important stuff for the bill of the thing. And then when during sentencing, his wife tells me when she comes in, because he wouldn't show up because I was going to hit his ass. As soon as I hit the gavel, I was going to smoke his ass. And because attorneys are garbage. They're
Yep.
the worst of all. They're the biggest crooks out of all of them. And everybody's just like on your, even if somebody thought you were not guilty, if they would have been labeled as a January 6th protector, they would have been, their house would have been squatted on it. Everything would have happened to them. Their jobs, they would have get fired. So everybody, no matter what, knew, do not go against the grain.
Well, even Ed Martin's done podcasts, and he has straight up publicly said it. If you are related to a J6er and 20 years from now you're trying to get a job, good luck. I mean,
Really?
we are all blacklisted. People, this is the biggest lie that the American people think. They think since we got pardoned that our lives are grand. We're just living life. We're back to normal. No. Still can't get bank accounts. Still being denied. Mortgages, people lost their children. They got divorced. They lost their houses. I mean, imagine I've detailed cars for like 17 years. Okay. I've done construction. I've done landscaping. I've owned my own business, everything. Tell me how in New Hampshire, I've been living in a camper in my friend's backyard in the dead of winter. Okay. Can't find a job. I was so desperate. I went to the gas station that has a car wash, right? I mean, you would want someone that has
She became a stripper.
17 years. Yeah, right. 17 years detailing experience, and I can't even run a car wash because what people don't realize, it doesn't matter about the pardon. First of all, if someone did a background check, they probably wouldn't give two shits that I had those misdemeanors, right? It's Google. It's forever. So unless Trump makes an executive order or does something to make Google scrub the internet, we're done.
So why'd you move to Florida?
To try and work on prison reform and to be near my sister and my niece and nephew.
I figure you would have came here because you're having an easier time finding jobs here, right?
Yeah, so I went to an event with Nick Shirley and Madison Cawthorn in Naples, and I went to Seed to Table. Have you ever been to Seed to Table?
No.
Oh, you got to go there.
Really?
So it is a conservative, I've never seen anything like it. It's like a grocery store, a liquor store, restaurants, bars. You can go to this station and get wine while you grocery shop, and it's Trump everywhere. It's MAGA beer. It's the most insane thing. And so I went there. The guy who owns it actually was busing people to January 6th. So in Naples, they say that Naples is probably the best place in Florida for conservative. It's like
It's
very high
red.
percentage. But my main focus is obviously I'm a worker. And I like, manual labor, but also one of my biggest things is prison reform. And so it was bittersweet. When I first got to prison, actually pretty much my whole bid, I was not liked. I thought I was better than them. Like, who is this bitch with misdemeanors? Like, just, they couldn't break me. I couldn't fit into the politics. I wasn't doing drugs. I wasn't doing all the craziness. But when I came out of the SHU and they saw how I was treated, it kind of like opened their eyes. And I would sit at tables with women from DC, from wherever, and they hate Trump. And I would sit there and debate with them, and I would tell them about what's happening in the real world. Some of them have been locked up a while. I'm like, like your kids are shitting and pissing in litter boxes? And they're like, yeah, Devon, you're so funny. I'm like, call home and ask them to look it up. Ask your family. I'm like, you guys have no clue. You sit in here ignorant to everything. And I said, do you get First Step Act? Yeah. I go, well, why don't you go tell the counselor that just take you off of it? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, do you know who created the First Step Act? How it got passed? I said, Donald Trump. I said, so it's funny that you guys all sit here.
Yeah, but they
and
don't
hate
even want
the
to
man.
implement it. There's still to this day, you still have to fight to get it.
Oh, yeah.
They hate him so much that the inmates are having to fight like hell to get it. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
So I get out of the SHU. I got like a month left. And so my mom comes to pick me up. Now, mind you, on a Friday, because they messed up my time, I was supposed to already be out. So my mom, I'm on the phone with her, and she says she's coming down, blah, blah, blah. So my counselor calls me in, and he goes, listen, I was listening to your phone call. Tell your mom not to come. I don't want to see her waste her gas money. You're not getting out till Monday. I'm like, okay, call her back, tell her. So they knew she was coming. Well, that morning, she shows up. They lock down the prison. They kick her off the property. They won't allow her to pick me up. Okay? So now I'm sitting in my cell watching the other inmates that were leaving that day at 7:30 in the morning walking out, and the whole prison's locked down. 12 o'clock rolls around. We're still locked down. And I'm like, what is going on? They finally let us out. And now I don't have any uniforms because I was planning on going home. Go and find a uniform. Go to chow. There's everybody. The captain, lieutenants, everybody. I'm like, what is going on? They're like, you'll go home when you go home. I said, you guys are really playing some serious games right now. So he's like, go back to your unit. We'll call you when we're ready. Just know you're leaving by taxi. Well, one of the guards was nice enough to tell my mom outside, one of the ones that supported me, listen, your daughter's going to be leaving by taxi. My poor mom drove 10 and a half hours to get there, first of all. And now they won't let her on the property. So she went down the street and was waiting for a taxi. She followed the wrong taxi for about 45 minutes until she realized it wasn't me. So she starts heading to the bus station because I'm supposed to take a bus from Pennsylvania. So finally, they bring me to check me out, and they're like, listen, if you get out of the taxi and you get in the car with your mom, I'm going to charge you with escape. I said, you guys are insane. And he was like, listen, I can tell by the look on your face that you're not taking me serious. And I was like,
I've been like, yeah,
I'm like, okay,
you didn't realize
whatever.
I went to trial, motherfucker?
Yeah, I'm like, all right, whatever, dude. So I get out, I get in the taxi, and I tell the guy, why I'm in there. And he's like, are you fucking serious? So he gives me his phone. I call my mom. And she's like, I'm like, where are you? She's like, I'm on my way to Pennsylvania. I'm like, well, bad news. This is how deliberate they were. They changed my itinerary. Now I'm leaving from Maryland. Okay? So now my mom's hours away. And all I have is, and this is the thing. So I wasn't supposed to go to a halfway house, but thanks to the BOP not correcting and updating the date, I was supposed to go for like 2 days, something pathetic, right? But the rules are when you're going to a halfway house, they have to give you an outfit. Oh no. I left in basketball shorts, steel toe boots, and 4 duffel bags of all like my mail and my paperwork and stuff. So the taxi driver drops me off at this bus station. I try to go in. You can't go in. Like the doors are locked. You just wait outside for the bus. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. My bus isn't coming for like another 5 hours. So I start walking around. I find a store. I buy a cell phone with my commissary money. I find a McDonald's. I get on the free Wi-Fi. I set it all up. I call my mom. She's like, I'm still like 2 hours away. So she gets there and she's like, all right, get in the car. And at that point, I've been strong through this whole thing. I just broke down. And I was like, Mom, I'm not going back to prison.
You know the rule, right?
I go, I can't get in the car with you. She's like, what do you mean? And I was like,
Mom's more gangster than you.
I go, they're going to put me back in prison, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, so she starts calling the attorney general. She's calling all these places, whatever. We're not getting any answers. She goes, fine, I'll take the bus with you. No bus tickets. Fine, I'll follow the bus. And on your layovers, you can come sleep in the car. So we go to the bus station. We're waiting. And all of a sudden, I'm like, the bus is late. And this lady comes up to us and she goes, are you guys waiting for the bus? Because I just called and it's not coming. The bus driver called out sick. I go, what? I go, I know this is going to sound crazy to you. Can I record you saying that? So she let me record her on a video. And then I said, can I have that number too? So I call and I record with my mom's phone them saying that. So had my mom not been there, the BOP would have left me stranded in Maryland.
So you know the rule of thumb is they always say never get. I watch a lot of guys get busted because they go straight to the bus stop and they send BOP workers on there to watch that bus stop get in the vehicle. You go to the next layover, then you get in the vehicle. That's the trick. They'll never go to the next one.
See, the thing is it didn't even matter because there was no bus coming.
Yeah, so you just got jumped in. And
So I got in the car. Mind you, it was like a 30-hour bus ride, a 10-and-a-half-hour drive.
Oh yes, you had 20 hours of layover.
So we get there. And I show up at the halfway house like 7 a.m. I'm like,
you can't
hey,
be here.
I go, listen, this is my situation. I got fat in prison. Can't fit in any of my clothes. I said, I don't got nothing, right? So they're like, all right, well, you weren't supposed to be here till 3 anyways. Go with your mom. Go get some clothes. Come back. So now I'm determined. I ain't going back to that bitch. So I'm calling the BOP left and right. And finally I got somebody on the phone. I said, listen, you guys owe me time. I'm not supposed to be going to a halfway house. When are you going to update the dates? She goes, I give her my name, and she goes, oh, your date updated at noon. I go on the website. I'm like, motherfucker. I call the halfway house and go, I'm not coming. And they're like, no, you have to come. I said, no, I don't. That's wrongful imprisonment. I am not coming. I said, so get on the phone, call whoever you got to call. She goes, listen, I'm telling you, just come. Once we get it resolved, we'll release you. I said, no, I'm not. That is insane. No. She goes, well, I mean, you could sue them. I said, listen, lady, there's enough lawsuits coming. And no, I'm not going to sit in this halfway house, which is almost worse than prison, because you don't want to call the BOP. So she ends up calling. They said, I just need you to come in, sign yourself out. I was like, bet. I go up there, I sign in, and I sign out.
Oh, you got lucky on that one.
I'm telling you.
I want to know about the day they got you and how they got you. Because I want to hear about the agent that you cussed out.
So they got me. So they were watching me for quite some time. They went to my mom's house. And it was funny because my mom recorded it. And they were asking questions. She was like, get the fuck off my property. I was like, yeah, go mom. So she was like, get the fuck off my property. So they were having a problem finding me because my truck was registered to my mom. So they're, like I got pulled over for no trailer lights. And I was like, oh, here we go. If they're looking for me, this is it, And then that's when they
at this time you're watching the news, right? So you notice they're coming after everybody. Yeah. Were you like, fuck, I'm next?
Yeah. I mean, you just kind of have that anxiety just waiting at any point in time. So I was like, oh, great. If they have a warrant or whatever, this is how they're going to bag me for fucking trailer lights. I was like, God damn it, Kirstyn. So the cops not really saying anything, but that's when they put it into the DMV. That's how they connected. So then they had my truck in there. So they arrested me January 18th the following year. So I was like, a year's gone by. They're not, whatever. I'm petty to them, right? Oh, no. They definitely hacked into my phone because I was running late. And I was on my way to my boss's house. And I see a local police officer on one of the side streets. I don't think anything of it. I'm not doing anything wrong. So I'm driving. He pulls behind me. And he waits till I'm turning into my boss's driveway and puts on his blues. And I'm like, So at this point, I'm still not like, I'm gathering my tools. I open the door. I'm like, can I help you? And he's like, license and registration. I said, for what? And he goes, you were kind of speeding. I said, you and I both know I wasn't speeding. And as soon as he looked at my license, grabbed me by the arm, and FBI swarms my boss's house. Oh, yeah, like 8 cars. I go, this is insane. I was like, so I was pissed. It's freezing cold. It's icy. And I have a bad shoulder. So, he's got me all the way yoked up. And I'm like, listen, my shoulder is going to come out of socket. And he goes, stop resisting. I said, I'm not resisting.
They love that.
He goes, I'm going to slam you on this fucking ice. And I was like, oh. So at one point, my mom and my boss were both upstairs. And I wanted to get someone's attention. Nobody's witnessing this, right? So at one point, I reached over and I punched my horn on my truck. Nobody heard me. Not even the dog. The dog didn't bark, nothing. I'm like, what is going on? He goes, we'll let him know. So they put me in the car. And I looked at the guy and I said, you are fucking pathetic. And he was like, and I started going off about Trump and the 2-tier justice system and Antifa can burn down the country and you don't care. And I said, and he was like, I'm a Trump supporter. And I was like, you're a pathetic ass Trump supporter. I said, and as an officer, you should be ashamed of yourself. I just went off on him in the car. And he was like, oh, this one's going to be fun. Then they take me to the marshals. They handcuff me and shackle me, bring me in this room. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't have court till 4. And I'm just sitting there. Then they come in, they do all the DNA stuff, and then they come in and hand me a cup. I said, what is that for? He's like, I need you to pee in it. And I was like, for getting arrested? I was like, since when do you have to pee in a cup?
Enhancements.
So they were just, it was relentless with them.
Really?
So a year and 8 months on pretrial. I missed the birth of my first nephew. I missed the birth of my first niece. Wasn't allowed to travel, red flagged at TSA. Then they did it to my mom. So she wasn't actually on the red flag, but because she was with me, she got the same treatment. So I don't know if you know what that's like. But so basically, the first time I flew, I didn't know I was on the list. I have 4 S's on my boarding pass. So I go and they scan the ticket to go into the checking, and all of a sudden this alarm goes off and the light turns red, and they start radioing people, and I'm like, the fuck? They shut down a whole lane, okay? An entire lane. They're testing my contact solution, my deodorant, I mean, everything under the sun. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, and of course, I'm always patriotic. So that time I happened to be wearing an American flag button up. So, of course, people are wondering, like, and everyone thinks I'm in the military and, you know, either that or I'm a cop. Apparently I have that look. But so everyone's like, kind of like, what the fuck is going on? So I actually met some of my good friends from what happened to me at the airport, because I get on a plane with them and they were like, what happened? Like, why were they doing that to you? And I was like, oh, I'm a January 6th or blah, blah, blah. And they were like, no way. And then we all became friends, and it was crazy. Like, you meet, you know, God works in mysterious ways. But then the next time I flew, they asked, are you guys traveling together? And so my mom got the same treatment. Yeah. And I have it all on video every time I flew.
So mine's different because I'm a drug smuggler type guy. So I'm on that same thing, but they don't let me know. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, come over here. Go to secondary. It's always secondary. You know, they do it nonchalant. Hey, can you stand on them? You got something in your pockets on them, like a hot water bottle. Like, oh, you see them 2 little feet stickers? Stand on that, fan it out. There's a camera that you can't see up there. Fan it out so the camera can see it. I'm like, what the? When you go to the thing, look for the 2 little feet stickers, and then look at the ceiling. You'll see a hole somewhere where there's a camera. And I'm like, what? So I had the treatment. I tell Jessica all the time, I'm like, because I've flown since I've been out, and I was like, man, they don't fuck with me at all. They just let me go. They don't even bother me or anything. Oh, yeah. No, I know. They put my mom on a no-fly list for years, so she couldn't come to visit me in prison.
Wow.
Because I wouldn't flip and turn on nobody, so they took it out on my mom. My ex, they would raid her, pull over, and just like 6'8" DEA agents fuck with her and shit.
Well, so the agent... Because you go in, and I can't check in online. I can't print my boarding pass. So that's how I kind of knew something was up. So I go in. It takes like 45 minutes. It's a whole process. So I go up. I give them my ID. You start seeing people coming out from the back, like security people and work there. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So she gets on the phone. And I kept asking her. For the first couple times I flew, she wouldn't tell me. Come to find out, they have to call Homeland Security. And they have to print my boarding pass themselves. And they take all my shit out back.
Still today?
Yeah. No, not today. Since I got pardoned, no.
Okay.
But for 3 years, yeah.
Shit, sounds like fun. I would enjoy this. Because I can't shut up. Like, I just blah, 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 blah. I just start going in and fucking with them. I don't know when to shut up. And I like all that entertainment, to be honest with you. Because in prison, I was hell, dude. Because just like you went in here with an attitude just like me. They kidnapped me. I went to trial. Them motherfuckers took me in handcuffs, kidnapped me away from my family and everything else. I didn't sign no plea deal saying I'm going to go do that time.
Yep.
So I went in there with an attitude right out the gate. An attitude. I didn't fit in. No tattoos, no gang member, no nothing. And, you know, I go in there around all these people and automatically clean cut, white boy, everything else. So it was always something until the day I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't even care anymore. And I just went against the grain. Never had a problem since. It's crazy how prison works. If you go in and try to follow the rules, you'll never make it.
Yep.
Never fucking make it.
Well, like I was, to my point earlier, so I was not very liked, right? And my last day when they saw what they did to me, I mean, the officer was getting ready to radio because he was nervous. There's 98 people in the unit. He's the only officer. Top tier, bottom tier. USA!
What?
USA! He's like looking around. He's like, what the fuck?
Turned the whole fucking unit over.
It was crazy. And they were all coming up, hugging me, crying. They said, listen, out of all the time I've ever done, there's nobody that I ever believed, and I believe you when you say that you're going to help us. Please don't forget about us. And I have fought tooth and nail ever since I got out. I did 8 months, and I could have just moved the fuck on with my life. But it matters to me. Like, being denied medical, the women that were in the SHU some of them were in there for a year and a half and counting. 18 days was brutal to me, okay? And not going outside and the harassment of the officers and just everything that I was like, there's no way that I can. Before, it was like, Yeah, I mean, you did the crime, do the time.
Yep. Same
And
thing
that's
to me.
how we were all ignorant to it, right?
Yep.
And then you actually go and you're like, damn, like,
It's fucked
look
up.
how many thousands of people are innocent, completely innocent,
Yep.
right? Over sentenced,
Yep.
being raped. Most people don't even know about Dublin, California, and what happened at that prison. They don't get it. And it's like, you're already losing your freedom. That is your punishment.
Yep.
It's not to be starved. I mean, that we had J6ers die in prison being denied cancer medication.
Yep.
I mean, it's disgusting. I mean, I know Billy Marshall and all of them have been pulling truckloads out of the BOP of expired food from like 1990s and 2000s.
Yeah, no, it says do not. The chicken would have a box that says not human consumption on it, and they're feeding it to us, and there's pictures of it. They don't care. I see that you have a lot of picture with Congress and powerful people. How are they in person? I asked you this earlier, and I loved your response. What do
So-
you get out of them?
Nothing. So I'm going to be honest. Even the ones with the R next to their name, and this is why I tell people, I'm not your typical Republican per se, conservative. I do not vote down ballot just because you have an R. I will not vote for a Democrat, but I'll leave the shit blank.
Yeah.
I am not voting for you when you're a rhino or you are just as bad just pretending to be a Republican. So I went there. I was in D.C. for a month on my own accord. And I printed out flyers about the prison reform bill that they passed. Both parties passed it. It's never been funded. There's no oversight. Nothing's changing. So I was like, this cannot stand. And what I found was I struggled in D.C. because, first of all, it is the definition of the fucking swamp. Horrible to navigate anywhere, just everything, the whole feel of it. But what I was facing is the Democrats don't want to work with me because I'm a J6er, right? They don't even care that I'm fighting for every race, every gender, every party. I don't care if you're a Trump supporter. You deserve to be treated right in prison.
Yes, I agree
So
with
my
that.
issue was, okay, the Democrats immediately turned me away because I'm a J6er. But the Democrats are the only ones fighting for answers and fighting for prison reform. So this is where I don't fully align with the Republican Party. One, I'm hated for being gay. Two,
What do you
prison
mean? I thought that
reform.
was the biggest thing in the country right now. If you ain't gay, you don't get nothing.
Listen, I guess I'm not in that cool club.
Oh, because you have an R beside it. So, you pretty much said that they're all frauds and fake.
They are. They
just say
So I
what's
would
in-
go to the trials, right? And they're like, I mean, you hear some of these people, they're savage. You're like, damn, okay, shit's really gonna change. They're doing investigations, this, that. They're chewing people out, the questioning of it. And then you catch them in the hallways.
Then they're all just jerking each
Try
other.
to give him a book. And he's like, do you know how many books that I have sitting on my desk? And you're technically not in my district. And I was like, oh. So I'm at the bottom of the list and you just don't really give a shit. And then it's like, oh yeah, they look at you like you're just this little peon. They don't got time for you. They don't care to hear you.
Yeah, I see that you're getting pretty, you got Nick Sterling, you got all kinds of people. How did you get these connect?
Just from running my mouth and, and standing up. I mean, so the Nick Shirley event, I heard about it and I was like, oh my God, I got to go. So I was at Seat to Table and the guy running for governor, one of them, was there. So they were hosting that there. So then you got Conservative Ant. I don't know if you follow him. So they were all there and they're passing out these flyers. And I'm like, oh, I definitely got to go to this event. So I go on, it's free for general admission, but you don't actually get to go like in the event. You have to watch it outside. So my friend who stands behind me with everything I've gone through, she was like, Kirstyn, I'm going to buy you a VIP ticket. You need to go there. Like you need these connections. You need people that are going to listen. So she paid $600 and bought me a VIP ticket.
That's awesome.
And, Madison knows who I am because he's very in tune with J6. I don't know if you know, he was not allowed to be in Congress because of January 6th.
Yeah.
And then Nick Shirley is just, he's doing his thing. 23-year-old kid out there killing it, doing
I'm
more
surprised
than
they haven't
doing more than
unlived him
any
yet.
reporters. Oh, well, they've had to beef up his security because that's coming. They want him dead too. So I basically went to this event and I was sitting in the audience and Madison ended up announcing me to the whole event, and I stood up, and so I had cards on me, and all these people came up to me, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're a J6er!" Like, shaking my hand. "Oh, can I take a picture with you?" And I said, "Listen, I just need help with the job. Like, I don't need handouts, whatever." I said, "I've done landscaping, I've done construction, I've worked on cars. I'm not a freeloader." I'm like, just something, just put me to work. So, a couple of people reached out. Some of them, they're all talk. See, and then this is my problem with a lot of these influencers.
Yeah.
Is that I come from the bottom, and even if I make it to the top, again, I'm in this not making a dime. I'm doing this on principle. I went to prison on principle. Not many people can say that.
That's me.
Okay, so, it's just, I find that a lot of them are all talk. They say they're going to get in touch with you. "Oh, we'll have you on the show. Oh, we'll help you out, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, you're a J," and then they just flake off.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Well, listen, we're going to have to cut it there because of time. I can't wait to get our own studio again so we can just go. But you're coming back for Nelson.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be a good one. You're going to have plenty of time on that one. Now he knows what the questions to ask you. So what's your social medias?
Let's see.
Because you need to get everybody LinkedIn to come
Yes.
check your stuff out.
So on TikTok, it is Patriot, the number 4, Truth, the number 6. On X, I believe it's the same. Yeah, it's the same on X. And then listen, I need a secretary or something. I don't know how y'all do this with 9 million social medias, but it's exhausting. So on Instagram, it's Patriot for Truth. And I got nothing on there because I always forget about it and I never post. But apparently
Instagram's
that's the
where
happening.
you need to be at. It is. I get better numbers, better views, everything on Instagram. I'm just going to let you know that. Facebook is real good, but you can't get on there.
Well, I am under Kirstyn Niemela.
You won't be very long after this one now.
Yeah.
Because the feds love watching it. So mine's 8UpJ. I appreciate having you on. That's on all accounts, guys. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. And it was great. You had me on my toes.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Okay, we will.